and welcome to another special edition of the GardenStateHSWrestling.com podcast, Near Fall Back Points. I'm your host, Donald J. Brower. We will be wrapping up the second half of the state tournament, 152 to heavyweight. This will be the medalists podcast. Because what we decided, I was kind of looking at everything, and we had interviews with the champions. They earned their own podcast. So we're going to have a very special third podcast for the week. Third. Jared's over there drinking coffee like you wouldn't believe. 3 podcasts in a week. He's over there going crazy. So we're going to have a champions podcast where we're going to interview all champions who won titles. The 5 of them. 5. King Kong Bundy. 5. We're going to interview all 5 of them. And that'll be released probably Tuesday. We're going to get that here. But before we get into the medalists, we got to get into the sponsors. Dan Warnikoff, champion athletes. I've said it before. I've said it on every podcast. I'll say it again. If you want to get where you want to be, nutrition is key. That's a good rhyme. I'm trademarking that. If you want to be wherever you want to be, trade with the commission. Yeah, I already lost it. It's already good. Nobody steal my idea. Anyway, back to us. Dan Warnikoff, champion athletes. If you want to get where you want to be, nutrition is the key. I brought it back. See how I did that? Anyway, Dan is the guy. If you want to be able to go out there and feel energized, lose weight, and be ready to go, he helps you with meal plans. Anything you need, Dan will help. Pat Glory has said, if it wasn't for his nutrition, he wouldn't have won the last 2 titles. The man who did that, Dan Warnikoff. He helps wrestlers. He helps football players, basketball players, baseball players, hockey players, every player in New Jersey, out of New Jersey, in state, out of state. You don't have to be an athlete. Dan will help you. Trust me, Dan is the man. Dan, the man. So go to championathletes.com. Check it out. Dan's been a big supporter of us. Thank you, Dan. And another season in the books because of Dan. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, Dan. Thank you. But Champion Athletes, that's where you want to go. Now, we promised medalists. We have a bunch, some surprises. More for how they finished, but also some surprises who did finish where. So without any further ado, let's head to my interview with my very first medalist. I'm joined by our first medalist of the day, 6th place finisher at 152, Tanner Peak, Hunterdon Central. Tanner, congratulations. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, thank you. I'm feeling real good. Couldn't have done it without my coaching staff, my teammates, my trainers all pushing me to get to this level. So I'm super pumped.
Now, you guys kind of had to start and go with the season, obviously getting ready. How did you guys stay fired up? Because I know there's off season, there's what I like to tell people is there's training for wrestling, but until you actually get in the room and get some of that mat time, it's tough. How did you keep that mat toughness all season?
Well, I got a mat in my basement, so I was working today, just wrestling, making sure I stayed in shape and keeping my mentality right. I wasn't going to let it get to me, so it was a good way to prepare. I feel like I was able to get even more work in just because I had even more time. So it was really helpful.
Now, one of your teammates, Colin, who we'll talk to a little later, winds up winning 4th. Talk about a teammate coming down. You go, first of all, it has to be strange because, and I have wondered this from everybody, you're so used to going to Atlantic City and seeing that and the sort of the pomp and circumstance and being in that environment and knowing it. You're a Phillipsburg. Like, no offense to Phillipsburg, but it doesn't really compare, even though some media people have been calling it the Atlantic City of the West. I don't know who started that. Might have been me, but nobody will ever call us that. But yeah. How is it to feel different? Because Hunterdon Central's people travel, your families travel. It must have been strange not having that crowd. How did you get fired up for that?
Well, I mean, I'm always able to fire myself up no matter the area I'm wrestling at. It was still a pretty good crowd. We had a lot of the parents come in, so it was a good environment. Peaburg's always cool to wrestle in. It's still a great gym to wrestle at. So it was still not too tough to get pumped, get amped up for the tournament.
How long, let me ask you this final question. How long do you savor this? Because, I mean, you're a young kid. I know obviously cutting weight, stuff like that. I know a lot of the guys are like, I'm going to get something to eat. How long do you let this savor before you start focusing on getting higher up on that podium next year?
I'm sure I'll celebrate today. I'll take tomorrow off maybe, and then right back to work. I'm training for Fargo and all these other tournaments coming up. So I want to set my attention towards that and then get myself ready for next season as well, get on the top of the podium.
Well, hopefully we also get to see in a possible all-star match coming up that I might have. Just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there, not putting you on the spot. But listen, congratulations. Enjoy this. Winning in any year and making states. And I mean, the historic program for Hunterdon Central, for you to put your name on that list is a big accomplishment. Congratulations and enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you so much. It means a lot.
Thank you for the time, Tanner. Congratulations. Good luck in the rest of your career. Another medalist in the 152-pound weight class, Kittatinny Stephen Dowling. I had a chance to catch up with him. Let's talk to him. I'm joined by Stephen Dowling from Kittatinny Regional High School, the junior who had an amazing run in the tournament. Stephen, congratulations on this season for you.
Thank you.
And your performance today. Talk a little bit about it, coming in as a 12th seed, and just kind of what your mindset was heading into the tournament.
Well, starting in regions, I was only the 9th seed at region, and obviously with a shortened season, I didn't have many opportunities to really prove myself, but I put in a lot of work in the off season, and even coming in as a 9th seed in regions, taking 3rd, that really gave me a lot of confidence. And then coming in here, I knew I was going to place. I mean, I knew I was better than a lot of the kids in the bracket, and obviously I was, but I just really held that attitude that anyone can be beaten. And, if I put in my best work, I can beat anybody.
Now, you come from a really historic Kittatinny program. Talk about this season, just the season you had and Coach Gill winning his 600th and what that kind of meant for the team.
Yeah, that really was an awesome moment for us. We would have loved to have groups because I think we would have been group champs this year. But even the 600th win against High Point, everybody came through, everybody pulled through. That was also another awesome accomplishment. In our storied history, that was a great moment for all of us.
Now you get in the 600th against a team like High Point, the traditional rivals who have been so successful. Just kind of, talk about how that spearheaded you guys, because that kind of took a lot of people for notice. It was very shocking what had happened, and you guys kind of steamrolled through the rest of the team. Was that kind of a good point for you guys?
Yeah, we were looking forward to that match. Even ever since last year, I've been telling people that we were going to beat High Point this year. And going into it, I mean, those last few matches were very stressful. But we came into that with an attitude. We knew we'd be ranked. That's what all our attitudes were. That we knew we were one of the best teams in the state. We knew we'd be High Point. And we really just had that. The whole team had that attitude. It was a great team effort.
Now, all your wins so far in the tournament were very close. How is it to be in that pressure situation and just kind of to eke out a quick win?
Yeah, I at least with me, this was something that I worked on over the summer. Is I really keep my mental. I don't let any situation really bother me. In that last match, or I guess the match to go into the placement round, I was on my butt for a minute and a half, just fighting off a single. And I keep calm. I keep collected. I know that I still have the rest of the match to wrestle. I mean, I think in a lot of my wins, I actually got taken down first, or the other guy might have scored first. Mm-hmm. But I wrestle the full match, and I think I'm kind of a bulldog. I really push people to the last minute. I feel a good gas tank, and I go in with a lot of confidence, and I know when I wrestle with confidence, I can beat anybody. And even those high pressure situations, I never got butterflies or anything. So I think I did pretty well.
And finally, just talk about your teammate Jackson Cron. Going for the 3-4 championship here over at 220. Just a kid I know you've been in the room with and such. How great is it knowing that you guys are going to both walk away with medals?
Oh, that's all. It's really good for us too, since we haven't had, as a team, 2 state medalists on the same team in a very long time. So it's really awesome to know that Cron and I are both getting medals. And it would have been nice to have him in finals, but things didn't shake out that way. But I mean, it's a great accomplishment for Jackson as well. I'm very proud of him.
Yeah, it's a tough 220 bracket. I always tell people when I make my predictions for 220 and heavyweight, I said there's always something funky that happens. You never can go something. I mean, it's always some random kid. It just happens. So it's a great accomplishment. And placing in, especially in this year, is a great accomplishment for you. Thank you for taking the time. We're glad we got to catch up with you for a little bit. Now we move on to the 160-pound weight class. Finishing fourth, Colin Calvedio from Hunterdon Central. I caught up with him after his finish. The 2-time medalist had a lot to say. Let's head to that interview. I'm joined by another medalist from Hunterdon Central, which seems to be the theme the last few years, Colin Calvedio, the 164th-pound place winner. Talk about your tournament and just kind of tell me how you feel right now.
It was a pretty good tournament. I feel good. I mean, I want to win it, but Fourth isn't that. I mean, I improved from last year, so I can't complain. But I did want to win. So.
Well, obviously, but placing fourth, they always say the saying was there's always one winner and everybody else is runner up. But for you, I mean, especially last year, how different was it this year? Because as I was talking to your teammate earlier, when you go to Atlantic City, the pomp, the circumstance, just kind of that mindset you're wrestling in a gym that you're kind of used to, closer to home. How different was it being state tour in Phillipsburg?
It made it a little bit different. I mean, there's not as much pressure. So, like, some kids probably wrestled better. I was looking forward to the big crowd. That was, like, the thing that I wanted the most was probably the crowd. I mean, there was a pretty big crowd here, but it's nothing like Atlantic City. I mean, just less pressure on you to there's not 10,000 people watching, so it makes it a little bit better.
Now, there were a lot of people watching online, and we were. Kind of talk about how you feel your career. You're a senior, obviously. It's your last run. You medaled twice. Hunterdon Central has such a historic program. How does it feel knowing that forever you're going to have your name etched up there with some of the greats in the history of that school?
It feels good. I mean, I want like a little bit more. I mean, I'll probably look back on it and be like, well, I could have done this and that, but you can't really do that. But I mean, if I could I'm content with what happened, but I would like to be like a four-timer or like, do wrestle a little bit better my freshman year or something like that.
Well, now you learned it. I think maybe those struggles might have happened, now it's paying off here with where you're at. But listen, congratulations. To medal any year is great. 2 years in a row, especially your senior year, going out with a fourth place. That's a great thing. And I'm sure when you get a little older, you'll be able to, appreciate it a little more when you do it. I know it's tough when you're in it. You're thinking, how could I get higher up? But listen, you've been a great wrestler for Hunterdon Central, and I'm sure they're going to miss you in the lineup next year.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Another bracket, another medalist for Del Barton, Louis Sergio, the freshman. He finished sixth. I got a chance to catch up with him after his medal round. Let's see what he had to say. Well, another bracket, another Del Barton medalist. I'm joined by the sixth-place finisher at 160, Louis Sergio. Tell me about this tournament, just kind of how you feel and how happy are you right now?
Pretty happy, not many people are freshmen at 160. I started off the tournament really well. I'm just happy to be here.
Is it tougher? Because I know, especially you're, being a freshman, facing a lot of kids, 17, 18-year-olds going out there and wrestling. Is it tougher with the upper weights? Because I know usually when we see the freshmen who advance far, your teammate Dan Jones, guys like that, the lower weights, for you to be 160 in a really competitive weight, what did you do out there?
I just wrestle. You just keep going, progressively moving in each situation you get into, and that's really all it's about. It doesn't matter the age.
Now, Del Barton has a history of really good freshmen, and I remember talking to a few of your coaches before the season, and they had said, keep an eye on this guy, keep an eye on that guy. The two names they mentioned were yours and Dan, so it's kind of apropos that here you are, your first year, you're on the podium for Del Barton. I asked Dan, and I'll ask you the same question. This was a weird year with Del Barton because I know they like to do a lot of stuff beforehand and everything. It was all virtual because of everything going on with COVID. Yet you guys all seem to bond and, obviously the friendships. How did you guys cultivate that without that, a lot of the time where you could have been together?
Yeah, we're in the room every day together. It's special. It's something special. We're on the right path.
Now, finally, you etched your name up there with some of the great names. I know you couple champions. Andy Trzynski, wins the 152 title. I know you guys are about that same weight, probably rolled around a little bit. Talk about him walking out, with the championship. I saw you guys, after you run up and hug him afterward, just kind of how you guys feel for what you guys did today.
Yeah, we feel good. He's a hard worker. He works really hard. He's a good kid. He deserves it.
Perfect. You deserved it as well. Congratulations. I told Danny the same thing I'm going to tell you. We may not have been talking about you before the season, but I think we're going to be talking about you for the next 3 years at Del Barton. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Another weight class, another Del Barton wrestler bringing home some hardware. This time, Colin Calvedio, who finished sixth. I caught up with him after he received his medal. Let's see what he had to say. I'm joined by another Del Barton medalist, Colin Calvedio, who finished 6th at 170. Congratulations. Just talk a little bit about your tournament, how you felt you wrestled today.
I mean, I felt that I kept a good head throughout the tournament and came back from that tough loss in the beginning. Yeah.
Was there anything after that loss that you kind of thought you could improve? Obviously, it's tough to change stuff on the fly, but was there anything you thought you made, a mistake you made in that loss that kind of propelled you, or did you just kind of say, hey, I'm going from here and seeing what I could do?
I mean, I definitely made some mistakes during that loss and after that, but there's not really much you can do during the tournament. But this offseason, I'm going to work on all those things and come back next year.
Now, obviously, Del Barton, not only with the medalists, but great success with champions. Dan Jones, a freshman, Andy Trzynski, sophomore, winds up winning. Just talk about these two guys. I mean, you see them in the room every day. You saw what they did. You saw, the heart about them. How does it feel for your teammates to be there?
I mean, it feels great. I'm really excited for them. And, yeah, just like Dan Jones, a freshman, winning it, that's amazing. I can't wait to see what he does throughout the rest of high school. Same with Andy. He deserves it.
And like I said, you guys always represent very well at the state tournament. I know there'd be more if PJ was able to, we understand, but I mean, you guys did a great run, and it shows. Everybody always talks about Del Barton individual, but just the spread of wealth you guys have with medals is amazing. And I know, you joining your brother as a great representative of Del Barton, I'm sure everybody's proud, and congratulations on the medal win.
Thank you.
Now, shifting to the 182 weight class, finishing 5th, Jester Gratowski from Butler, who's had a great career. I got a chance to not only talk to him about how he felt his tournament went, but some future plans. I'm joined by the 5th place finisher in the 182 bracket, Jester Gratowski from Butler. Justin, tell me how your tournament went and just how you feel about how you did today.
Overall, tournament went well. Coming to the state tournament, I knew Butler hadn't had a state placer since 2002 from Anthony Liardi. And getting the 8th seed, I knew that I could get on that podium. That was a goal I set since freshman year, and was able to win my first match. Unfortunately, lose to Brian Saldano in the quarterfinals, but was able to persevere and in the consolation side of the bracket and come up on the 5th place finish.
Now, people don't know. What are you doing when you graduate high school? I know you're kind of undertaking a very big change in your life.
Yeah. So, once I graduate high school, I'm leaving for West Point, June 26th to 28th. That's for basic training. Definitely going to be a change in a lifestyle, going from a civilian status to straight into the Army. And those 6 weeks, no phone, nothing, just paper and pen if I want to talk to my parents. But definitely pumped up for the opportunity, and I'm excited.
Well, from one military member to a future one, it's an honorable thing to give the service. And trust me, I know about those long nights, and it's 2 hours sleep, and you don't remember what day it is, and yeah, it's a whole different story. But now, you had a great career at Butler. Kind of just, how do you feel now? Your career's over. Your coach raves about you and says you've had one of the most outstanding careers in the school history. How do you feel you rank up with all the greats from the school?
It feels a little weird. I don't know if it probably hasn't sunk in yet, knowing that I'm one of the 2 or 3 wrestlers in Butler history to get on that state podium. But it just goes to show that hard work pays off, and I'm glad I was able to get on that podium. Freshman year I had a record of 6 wins, 6 losses, and now I'm finishing 5th in the state. So the saying "hard work pays off" is definitely true.
Well, thank you for your time, and let me be the first to say thank you for your eventual service, and congratulations on your run in your career at Butler.
Thank you, Mr. Brower.
Continuing the 182 bracket, Alex Yerniak of North Hunterdon finished 7th. Hard time getting in contact with him because of the wonderful reception at Peaburg, but I finally got a chance to pin him down. Let's see what he had to say. Hey, Alex, thanks for joining me. Talk a little bit about your tournament and just how you're feeling today.
I mean, right now I'm feeling good. Just coming off 7th place in the state, 182. Feeling pretty good about myself. Yesterday, the first match was a little struggle. I ended up losing, but mentally I got over it, and I was able to bring it out and get on the podium for states, which was my main goal this year.
Now, how do you get over something like that? Because I was talking to a lot of people, and you've seen this in years past. Usually when somebody loses that first match, they check out. And especially this year where, previously in states, you lose your first match, you get a kind of a night off so you can kind of refocus. Here, it's like, okay, your 45 minutes are up, get back out there and wrestle. How do you kind of put that behind you so quick and be able to move on?
I've been actually working with people like that, like Wrestling Mindset. I work with them. So they've been helping me out with all that stuff. Like after mobbing, which I didn't have a good show in there, I was like, oh, I got to mentally prepare for everything else. I got to like make sure like I'll come over all my lost matches and stuff like that. Just make sure I overcome.
Now, yesterday with the distance, how was it having to wrestle so many matches realistically today? Because you would get a little bit of a break, but it was literally just like, all right, let's go. And then you also had the little bit of a delay where some crazy guy or whatever happened with the pole knocked everything out and it kind of shut stuff down. How did you kind of deal with that? Do you enjoy it where there's wrestling constantly, or do you enjoy a little bit of a break in between?
Honestly, I didn't mind. I didn't mind that much. I'm in good cardio shape, so it didn't really affect me. I mean, it was harder in regions. Like we'd wrestle in regions, you wrestle every 45 minutes pretty much. Rather than states, you wrestle like an hour and a half. So I mean, it wasn't too bad. Yeah,
that was the one good thing. I commend them for kind of realizing at regions there was so much downtime, especially in the upper weights. I mean, you guys are sitting around and doing everything. It's like, all right, now we're waiting. And when they finally put everything together, I think they realized like, okay, we can do this, have 7 weights going and not have to worry about splitting it into the sections, which I think is a disservice, especially for the bigger guys. You're sitting around and it's like, all right, now I get warmed up now. So yeah, it's tough with situations like that. But
yeah,
with your team this year, I know, you guys had last year, you guys had a really great team and you didn't have the individual success that in the tournament. And I think this kind of validates you. Do you guys feel that way now that you kind of have those kids who come out and can wrestle? And so it looks like, it's not the sum of a whole, but you guys have really good individual wrestlers as well.
Yeah, I think we've always had good wrestlers. I mean, last year was like a once in a lifetime chance or one lifetime opportunity you had. Like great practice, all that stuff. So, I mean, it hasn't really changed. It's good to have all the like state qualifiers. Or like, I think we had like one more this year than last year, something like that. So.
Well, listen, thank you for taking the time. I know you're a busy man. I think your lacrosse coach has called 4 or 5 times saying, let's go. So I don't want to hold you up. Congratulations and good luck in the future.
Thank you.
Shifting gears to the 220 weight class, lots of local representation. 4 wrestlers walking away with medals from the coverage area. Let's start with the man who finished the highest, Jackson Kittatinny, who took 4th. I got a chance to talk to him not only about his tournament, but his career at Kittatinny and the bond he has with his coach. Now we shift our attention to the upper weights, 220. Jackson Kittatinny, who finished 4th. Jackson, congratulations. Talk about how you're feeling right now after winning that medal.
It is my last ever high school match that I'll ever wrestle with Coach Gill in my corner, Mm-hmm. So it was kind of bittersweet, I accomplished, medaling, but in the long-term effect of it, like it's going to kind of suck next year not wrestling for Gill.
Talk about Coach Gill. I know you being a senior and getting to be a part of a big milestone for him. Tell me about how it felt to be able to get him that 600 win against a really big rival for you guys in High Point, a local rival. Just the feeling around the school to be able to get that for them.
It was a great feeling, I was happy I was able to, stick the 2A 5-pounder for, just for our little 106-pounder to go out and win. And for him to be there in my corner as well, like when I reached my milestone of 100 wins, like we've always had a close relationship, but this year we were the closest we've ever been.
Now, somebody you're really close with, I know he's always posting about your wins as your dad. Talk about, him and your parents, just being a senior, and I know how excited they can get as being a wrestler, how you feel with, for your parents, especially with what they going through as far as driving you to those long tournaments and stuff like that, for you to be able to kind of reward them with a place and then for them to see you happy, how you felt.
I haven't really. I mean, yeah, I talked to my dad. He told me congratulations. They love me and everything, but I didn't really go up and see them as much as I probably should have, or that I wanted to. I really do appreciate everything that they've done for me over the years. And I started this, Christ, probably 13 years ago now, 14 years, something like that. And when you do something for so long, it kind of becomes part of your life, you know? And I know my dad probably feels the same way about that, because of the fact that, you know, he's the one that kind of got it all started for me. He's the one that said, hey, you want to wrestle? When I was back in kindergarten, I said, yeah, sure, why not? And from there, it just kind of took off. And even as a little kid, I was always wrestling older kids, but in the long run, it really helped me out.
Well, congratulations. Listen, I know, especially covering you for the 4 years, it's something you really wanted to do. So for you to be able to realize your dream and medal and be able to get your name put up on the board in the practice room and show that, you know, be there for the generations to come, that's a great thing. Congratulations.
Thank you. I really appreciate everything that you've done for me over the years, and you'll still hear more about me. Don't worry.
I'm not trying to write you off. This isn't a eulogy or anything. I'm sure. I know how it is, especially with seniors. You know, it's kind of the last match and stuff like that. And it's just been a pleasure being able to cover you. You've always been very supportive of everything, and your dad as well. And I'm just glad you're one of the good ones, and I'm glad you got rewarded with a medal in your last attempt.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Staying in the 220 weight class, I just caught up with sixth place finisher Jack Stoll from Pope John. Let's head to that. I'm joined by another medalist at 220, Jack Stoll, who finished sixth from Pope John. Jack, talk a little bit about this and just how you feel your tournament was today.
I felt like it was good. I feel like I definitely could have came out the gates a little bit stronger. Once I get moving out of tournament, I mean, that's when I really start to pick up and just fly through it. So I wish I picked the pace up a little bit earlier, but for the matches I wrestled good, I think they were very good.
Now, you wrestle back, you take a medal. Everybody wants to finish first, but you get your medal for sixth. Your teammate, who might, I don't know if he is he your practice buddy, or I know sometimes it's with 220, you probably usually bang with the heavyweights. Did you wrestle with Nick in practice, or is he with somebody else?
Yeah, Nick's my practice partner.
Talk about, you guys, you getting sixth, Nick taking first. Just a really great day for Pope John Wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome to see him win. I mean, he definitely deserves it. Definitely puts in the time, and I wish I could have came on top too.
Now, was it like you said? When you look back at it, is it something that you look at with sort of a rose-colored glasses in a sense, where you're like, "Oh, I wish I did better," or are you happy with where you finished when everything, push comes to shove?
I definitely wish I did a little better. I wish I got way more to my offense against Kron in the my second match, and then for third, fourth to get to third, fourth. I mean, it was kind of hard with Duranzo. He kind of just like locked up. I'm a big offensive guy, so when you're not giving me a lot of motion, I can't really do much, So I feed off of what people give me.
So you get locked into that where it's you need something. I understand completely where it's like if you're not getting what you need, but I mean, you're talking about, especially with you, where you qualify fourth in the North 1. You're still the fifth seed, obviously, as a junior. For you to do that and wrestle back is a great accomplishment. And when you meet Kron and you see him, and you're kind of like, I know you guys have wrestled in the past, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you guys are out there and you kind of look at each other, is it kind of like, all right, I know what he's going to do. We've wrestled each other so many times. Or is it kind of like, let me see what I can do and go off of what he gives me?
Well, I haven't really wrestled in my practice. I've just wrestled him growing up. But yeah, it's kind of just see how I can move him off of what he does and whatever he going for that shot. If you let me get your arm, I'm definitely use that game changer for me.
Well, listen, congratulations. It's been a banner few years for Pope John. I know you guys have had a great run. It adds another chapter to the legacy. Enjoy this, and I'm sure we'll be hearing from you next year.
Sounds good, man. Great talking to you.
Great talking to you, too. We said 220 was a busy weight, and the hits keep coming. I got a chance to catch up with the 7th place finisher, Andrew Franklin in North Hunterdon, a few minutes ago. Let's head to that. We're joined by another medalist in 220, 4 in total, Andrew Franklin, the 7th place finisher. Please tell us how you feel after the tournament.
Physically very tired. I woke up today. I'm sore basically everywhere, but I'm really happy the way I finished, especially coming out with a win on top, the last match. And I think my most important match for me personally was beating Pearson first round in overtime, especially pinning him. Because it's kind of like a long time rivalry. Like he won one, I won one, and I had to win. I had to let him know I'm better, and yeah.
Well, you seem to wrestle a lot of guys locally. You was, as you were saying, in the 7th place match, Pantusa. I'm sure you guys have met up a little bit. You guys were in the same circles in that same area, Warren Hills, North Hunterdon. Talk about winning that, because obviously you want to go out on top. You beat a kid in the area. That feeling once you realize, like, hey, I'm going to get a medal anyway, but I'm going to higher medal.
Yeah, no. I obviously knew after the second match that I won, I was going to place either 7th or 8th, but my coaches did stress to be happy but not satisfied. And I have wrestled Pantusa in the off season, and I know he's like really energetic and he likes to take shots all the time. And I'm kind of contrasting like my style. I like to use my hands a lot, not really take shots. Take my time. I knew how he wrestled, and I think I was like a lot more conditioned than him. So I ended up on top. And ultimately I wrestled like it was my last match. I had nothing to lose, and I just gave it my all.
Now, talking about conditioning, this year was strange with how they did states, because obviously, if it was the regular state, you'd have your match, then some downtime. You'd have your match, then a lot of downtime, and it was stretched out. With this, it was kind of like, okay, you just lost. Hey, take your break. You're going to come back out and wrestle again, and then you're going to keep going. Was that, as far as condition, because you said you're sore? I know us big guys were really not used to, getting those 4 or 5 matches, even sometimes 6 in one day. I'm sure that was testing your conditioning and pushed it to the limits.
Yeah, yesterday was really, really tiring. I could feel it. It wasn't like, I'm obviously sore right now, but I could feel it as like the day went on. I was like, all right, this is starting to get, like really, really tiring. And, I luckily came out on top for my last match, but I think like the main thing was regions last week. It kind of gave me a little taste of what it was going to be like yesterday. It was actually, we had a lot shorter intervals. I'm pretty sure. I think it might've been 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they did it with like the holding matches and stuff like that, but I did have COVID a little while ago, so that really did affect my conditioning. I would say like after I started feeling a little better, I started going for jogs like every day, because I knew, once I'm back, I'm going to regions. The seedings were basically already out. Like I have to get back in shape. And, I'm being totally honest. I was definitely not in as good a shape as I've been before, but I think mentally I was there. And I think the big part was winning and losing. I lost a couple matches yesterday. I think the main thing was to, just, let it go. My dad always says, if you lose, shake it off and go to the next one. That I think that's really the main thing, staying calm and poised. I have my phone right here. I didn't look at this once during the tournament yesterday. I got flooded with texts as soon as I came back home. I obviously they were like, "Congrats, Andrew! Like, good job! This is awesome." But for me, I think not looking at this really did help because it kind of like fogs up your head. That was the mental aspect of it was really important for me. And, I'm glad that I did what I did, and, that really helped a lot.
Well, the other thing too is I don't know if you could have got it on your phone in Peterborough anyway. Apparently the service there was a tin can of string.
Oh, it was atrocious. Yeah, it was terrible. Yeah.
And I heard you guys had the fun little delay of somebody deciding to drive into a pole and knocking it down and kind of knocking stuff out.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say nothing, and I'll break it here. I was actually so upset with the stream Saturday. It was me. I drove into the pole. I was so mad. I figured they had to do better. So I was the one who knocked the pole down, and then I just ran away. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding about that.
No, I was gonna say that. That's
you were thinking about it for a second. I'm like, no, that wasn't me.
No. But yeah, there were some connection problems. I mean, for the wrestlers at least, it kind of helped. I mean, we got to chill for a little bit, relax, stretch out. But yeah, it really wasn't that much of a disturbance yesterday, for us at least.
For you might be too young to get the reference, but I'm sure some of the old people that when they see this will pop. A lot of the interviews we tried doing when everybody was in the gym yesterday, it looked very Max Headroom-ish, which is an 80s character that was like a computer-generated model. If you Google it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I understand when I say that. If you weren't in the 80s, you'll have no idea what I'm talking about. But all the parents right now, you're kind of going to go, oh, wow, correct. So,
okay, yeah.
It's one of the. I have very old references. I'm not that old, but I have very old references. But
yeah,
listen, congratulations. I know you have a busy day, especially the day after the season. You take some time with us, but congratulations and enjoy it.
Thank you so much.
In every match, there's got to be a winner and a loser, and unfortunately, it wasn't his night tonight. However, he did finish 8th in the state. Jared Pantusa of Warren Hills. I caught up with him a few minutes ago. Let's see what he had to say. I'm joined by yet another medalist at the 220 weight class, 8th place finisher, Jared Pantusa of Warren Hills. Jared, congratulations. Talk about how you're feeling right now after walking away with a medal.
I'm feeling pretty good about myself. I feel like I could have done like a little bit better, like with just like defensively, and I don't know. I just feel like I could have done a little bit better on the mat, but like I'm glad I placed like 8th. It's just as a sophomore too. I mean, I'm wrestling 195, bumping up to 220. And I just, I feel like it was like the right fit for me because I cut down. I was gonna cut down to 182 for the season and like stay at 182. But my coach told me to move back up to like 220 and see how that goes for me because he thought it was like the best shot for me. So I listened to him and it just helped out.
Well, that's the one thing, especially the upper weights. It's so different because I tell everybody all the time when I make my predictions for 220 and heavyweight, there's always somebody, it's just a scramble. You never get the top seeds, in there. But talk a little bit about, with your tournament and that, what is there something you need to work on as far as next year? Is it weight? Is it defense, offense? Do you want to add some muscle? I mean, you're young still, so it's not like it's the end of the road, but what do you improve on, to improve higher on the podium?
I definitely want to keep on lifting like during the off season and training like at these like wrestling clubs and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. What I feel like I could have done better on is definitely defending legs because I got caught in that the second match and I got pinned. But yeah, I didn't get caught in legs in the third match. Defended that. Then the last match I kind of just like I could have done better like shooting and all that. Like I feel like I could have done better like offensively. Because like he defended like half my shots that I took on him pretty much. I couldn't like grab his leg and just like hold it in there, and he just like spun around me each time I like shot at him. So I feel like I could have done like better at shooting and defending my leg and defending legs.
Now, I'm a former Warren Hills wrestler. I graduated in '95. I actually was just talking to one of your teammates. I graduated with Tyler's parents, so I know them from going to high school. So I knew them all the time. And one thing I have a question is where you guys wrestled, especially Phillipsburg, did it feel like a home match? I mean, that's like what, 15, 20 minutes away?
Yeah, definitely.
Bed. I mean, it felt like it wasn't that high pressure situation. How was it wrestling for the state in like, the local school?
It felt great. I mean, it wasn't too far actually. And that just made it like a lot easier than going down to like Atlantic City. So.
Are you one of those wrestlers who enjoys wrestling constantly, or because you're an upper weight, you like the downtime where you would get it where the tournament's spread out? Did you enjoy having it all in one day, or did you kind of wish it was a little bit longer?
I kind of wish it was like a little bit longer because of like COVID and all that. And then I only had like 5 matches like during the season, so I was kind of hoping for more than that, like we usually do. But COVID kind of messed it up this year.
Well, congratulations. You're going to be on that wall. I know in the room, it's always great to see a new name added to it every year, Warren Hills. And when get a chance to come check it out, I look, and it's always nice to see the young guys getting up there. So congratulations. Enjoy this.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Finally, the big guys, the heavyweights, the big men. My alma mater, Warren Hills, had a medalist. 6th place, Tyler McCaslin. Got a chance to talk to him as he was walking around a little bit, trying to look for some food. I know the heavyweights, how they do it, but I got a chance to talk with him. Let's see what he had to say. I'm joined by a Warren Hills alumnus who won a medal, a man after my own heart, a fellow heavyweight, Tyler McCaslin of Warren Hills, 6th place at heavyweight. Talk a little bit about this, just kind of how you feel after this tournament.
I feel pretty good, and it was very exciting.
Now, I know last year you went down, you qualified, you didn't have the results you wanted. Tell me the difference you're feeling this year compared to last year, getting the chance to stand on what they considered a medal stand, but still getting your medal in the line.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked all summer, worked hard in the room, so it was a good payoff, and I'm excited and happy about it.
Now, obviously, you know, with it being so close to your home, talk about how quick it was. Because obviously when you go down to Atlantic City, there's a lot of downtime and stuff like that. And, you know, with it being in Phillipsburg and being all one day, you know, people call Phillipsburg the Atlantic City of the West. I don't know if I just made that up. But talk about how everything, you know, kind of, are you one of those guys where you enjoy just wrestling and wrestling and wrestling, or do you enjoy the downtime?
I actually enjoy the downtime. I mean, as a heavyweight, I mean, it's kind of tiring to keep going and going and going. So, yeah, I enjoy the downtime, but it was so nice to be close to home and have the home court advantage, so to say.
Now, finally, talk about, you know, not only you, but your teammate, I'm sure your practice partner, you know, winning his medal, just kind of how you guys feel the upper weights kind of for Warren Hills of what they did this year.
I mean, we push each other in the room and we work hard. So, I mean, if anybody works hard and you get pushed, it's something that you can achieve.
Well, congratulations from one former Warren Hills heavyweight who was nowhere near as good as you to another. Congratulations and enjoy this.
Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
You too. See you.
Once again, thank you, everyone. All the medalists, congratulations. For you seniors, revel in it, live it up. For you underclassmen and juniors, get at it next year to improve your finish. I'm proud everyone did it. Once again, we have another state tournament in the books. Once again, well represented in the Hunterdon, Warren, Sussex, and Morris areas. We will be back with a championship podcast in the next couple of days, and we'll have a season wrap up within the next week. I'll have everything updated on the site. I'll have everybody's finish updated within the next day or so. So we will be legit, and I'll be able to take a nice little break because it has been hectic. But for Jared, the podcasting legend, I'm Donald J. Brower. I'll see you next time.